Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Post-fight review for Filip Hrgovic versus Zhang Zhilei, and the IBF final eliminator is won unanimously by Hrgovic on the cards, 115-112. That was two judges. The third judge, 114-113. So we'll come back to those cards because I know that is going to be seen as controversial by some, because not necessarily the fight I saw, because this fight was back and forth, and Zhang, he hurt Hrgovic multiple times, had him down in the first round, and arguably, I think, did enough to nick a decision. But a round either way, I think, is fine, but 115-112, those are not good scorecards. But Hrgovic takes this one, and first though, before we get to the action, we'll get to his comments, which he made post-fight, that he said that it was a warrior performance, he did it for his father, that it was a close fight, and that the later rounds he pushed, and he actually was able to get on top, and that's why he won. And he said of Zhang, his opponent, that he surprised him, that Zhang was better than he thought. And this fight ended up being exceptionally well matched. These guys were shot for shot at times, and it was so crazy with the sort of back and forth action. Round to round, a different guy was getting on top and dominating. There was a point at about round 6 where Filip Hrgovic was just eating shots, clean shots, left hands, right hooks, uppercuts from Zhang Zhilei, eating them like Tic Tacs, and you thought that this is going to end badly for Filip Hrgovic. His body language didn't look good, but he comes out the next round and he puts it on Zhang, and it was a total momentum shift. And this was sort of the story of the fight, back and forth, seesaw affair. Zhang drops Hrgovic in the opening round after Hrgovic starts well, clips him with the right hook. He's down. At first, before you saw the replay, you wondered if it was sort of a cuffing sort of pull down, but it was a shot behind the right ear that drops him, and that really put Hrgovic on the back foot. And he did bounce back well, and this was the sort of story of the fight. One guy would gain some momentum, have some success, and then the next round or 2 rounds later, the other guy would come back and put it on him. So it was, my rounds were all over the place, but I did have Zhang up in the first half of the fight, obviously the knockdown as well. Hrgovic needed a strong second 6 rounds. And largely he had that, but you had Zhang responding and having some big rounds of his own, even on the home stretch. I think round 9, round 11 were clear Zhang rounds. So heading into the decision, I was thinking, well, we're going to get something that looks very close. I had round 4 as a swing round, so if I gave that to Hrgovic, then I would have actually got a draw on my card. As it was, I had 6 rounds apiece, with Zhang with the knockdown being up 114-113 on my card. But the judges saw it differently. 115-112 actually represents, once you minus the knockdown, 8 rounds to 4. That's not the fight that I saw, and I'm sure it's not the fight that other people saw as well, because this was tough. It was closely contested, and I think Zhang can feel aggrieved for not actually those 2 cards at least being closer. You can have Filip Hrgovic winning, just nicking it. I think that's fine, but to have him winning by 3 rounds when Zhang got the knockdown and had prolonged stretches of success in this fight, taking clear rounds, hitting Hrgovic with a huge amount of shots. I'm sure Zhang is feeling a bit dirty after that. But both guys, you have to credit them. The chin was pretty crazy from both. Zhang ate a lot of big shots, and he took Hrgovic's best, and he never looked like he was going down. He looked like he was buzzed and hurt a few times, whereas Hrgovic, obviously down, didn't look more like a flash knockdown, but there were other stretches, in particular like round 6, where he looked like he was really shaking, and it could have been all over soon after, and you sort of thought heading into the 7th, this is all going downhill, but he rallied. And you have to really congratulate and credit the fortitude for Filip Hrgovic for being able to stay in the fight through the adversity. He's got a hell of a chin. He really does, both these guys. And it was fought at a pretty decent pace, and you consider after a certain point, after about half a dozen rounds, the jab was gone, it was left behind, it was power shots all of the time. I would say, though, that Zhang did a really good job at times of pressuring Hrgovic, and Hrgovic didn't really look good on the back foot, fighting and boxing and moving. And this was the first time that he'd been more than 8 rounds. So it was uncharted territory, going the full distance. And I don't think many people expected we were going to get a decision win here. And especially the way that the fight was fought. Either of these guys was going for the knockout, and it sort of looked like it was heading in that direction. But it goes 12, and credit to them. I really enjoyed this fight. I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but I don't think we will. But this was the sort of test that Filip Hrgovic needed. He's got the win here. He advances. He is the IBF mandatory challenger. Eventually, he will get a title shot. Maybe not in the next 6 months to a year, but in the next 18 months or so, when his name is called, because there's a rotation with the 3 belts that the champion holds at the moment, he is going to get a title shot. But I think he needs more tough tests like this. Not too many soft touches, because he needs more seasoning. I think this fight showed that the couple of years worth of pretty pedestrian opponents that were maybe at top 50 to top 70 level, they couldn't get him anything meaningful. It has hurt and harmed his progression. He needs to be in tough like this. He needs to have those fights where he can go through adversity, where he can make those adjustments, where he can push through and get wins like this. I'm not sure that he deserved to win as wide as he did, but I'm not mad that he won. But I think those cards, 115, 112, that's not good. Not good for the sport, because that's not the fight that I saw. What did you make of it? What did you make of Zhang Zhilei and his performance? I think at 39, he put in a much better performance, especially going all 12, than I think many of us would have expected. We all knew he was dangerous. We knew he could hurt for Hrgovic. Said this all in the lead up to this fight. Those first 6 rounds, he was going to be exceptionally dangerous. And he was. And I had him up, what was it, 4-2 plus the knockdown after 6 rounds, or was it... whatever it was, I had him up. But Hrgovic did finish stronger of the two in those last 6 rounds in a pretty crazy seesaw fight. Really enjoyed it. Wouldn't mind seeing it again. Not sure that we will. Hrgovic with Ronnie Shields didn't really sort of see too much new. I mean, Hrgovic respected Zhang's power. He didn't want to walk into too much, but he was getting caught with a lot of shots in this, and that chin is something else. He was able to rally and shake it off and keep coming. Ultimately gets the W here. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.